Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all amazing. Today on 5-Minute Tones, I want to show you a Space Echo inspired preset that I've put together. I've got my old Strat plugged straight into the Axe-Fx 3. That is going to an input block through the studio feedback compressor, the double verb vibrato at stock settings, my usual LTTV Mix 7 cabinet IR. We're using the mono tape delay for scene 1 with some studio style reverb. I've also got another reverb block with the large spring loaded up, and there is a multi-tap delay set to the space tape that we will hear in just a second. I'll show you this clean single head scene and talk about some of the little tweaks that I've made in the delay block to get it there. So on the main page, pretty straightforward. I have just set the tempo to be synced up with a quarter note subdivision. Feedback is at 55%, and we're just using a single head on here. So I've turned head 2's level all the way down. The magic comes from the combination of the EQ, a low cut at 100 Hertz and a high cut at 3500 Hertz. So it's quite bandwidth limited. To compensate for that, I've turned the mix up a little bit above 50% and compensated with the block level, but then I've got some modulation. LFO1 is set to just below 2 Hertz. LFO2 is set for 16 Hertz in there, emulating some wow and flutter. There's no drive on this, so I wanted kind of like a clean tape style sound. On scene 2, however, there is some drive added. I've brought up the level for head number 2, and with the EQ, I've actually used this band 1 in here just to kind of change the slope of this particular low cut. I can talk about that in depth on my Discord if anyone really wants to know about that, but for now it's doing a very similar job to the low cut. And then the modulation is set slightly more extreme. So I've called this crusty dual head. Check it out. Scene 3 takes those same crusty dual head settings, but assigns LFO3 to target the spread control. So what's going to happen now is that dual head delay is actually going to kind of spread out across the stereo spectrum and pan out and pan back in. This one is really, really addictive. Check it out. We can hear that with some dirt. I've actually just backed the mix and level off a little bit on this for my lead scene, but you can leave it where it is in the preset. I do have an even crustier version of that over on scene 6 with more extreme low and high cuts. The modulation is very, very similar, and I think, no, the drive's actually exactly the same. So it's just more of an extreme EQ cut. Check it out. Scene, I also brought in this large spring reverb as well, which definitely adds some space echo vibe in there. One trick you might want to try is this. If you've got an expression pedal hooked up, take any of these mono tape modes and right-click the master feedback. Let's set the source to FC1 pedal number 1 and the minimum to around 100%, so that when I'm heel down, it's basically what you've heard throughout this video, and then assign the same pedal to the level of head number 2. That way, when you're playing with your heel down, you just have a single echo, and as you push down, you're gonna get more feedback and a second delay head. Check it out. bring it under control by going heel down again. The last scene I want to show off is actually scene number 4. It's a 3-head echo using this space tape type. I've set up a quarter note, a dotted eighth note, and an eighth note delay, and I have assigned LFO number 1 to the overall motor speed of the head on there. So that's actually adding some modulation in there. If we take a look at LFO 1, I've set it to be a triangle type, and I've just tweaked the duty cycle. So this is actually kind of like a skew triangle. I'm going to play you all out on this particular mode because we are definitely over 5 minutes on here. I've done 2 versions of this preset, one after the amp and cab, the other before a stereo pair of the same amp and cab, which I will post on Exchange. If you have any further questions, let me know in the comments. And if you want to support my channel, there's links to do that in the video description. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching.